Well, Pedro, thanks for taking the time here at SRS 2024.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you. So, I'm familiar with your organization. We've worked with your organization before, but the market may not. You're one of those organizations that's behind the scenes that's developing, I think, pretty progressive solution sets into the surgical robotics space. How would you share or best explain interventional?
Absolutely. So we are an OEM surgical robotics company. So we try to sit in the middle between companies such as KUKA or Stoibli or Kinova that sell you hardware, but don't give you a service. So if you want to build a robot, you need to buy that hardware, build a software, hardware team around it, get the regulatory clearance, get a sales team and commercialize it. So we try to partner with surgical implant companies or navigation companies that do not have the money, time, or resources, or even a willingness to build a robot themselves, because it's a quite long process. You need half a decade, a lot of money. And we have a CE-marked FDA-cleared platform, and we are cleared for any 2D or 3D percutaneous procedure or MIS procedure using needles or a needle type device. This means that we have such a broad clearance and a clearance for a function, not for an indication specifically. So we can leverage this initial clearance to get to market faster. So if you would have an implant on a specific niche market that you'd like to implant using our device, we can get you to market much faster because you can simply OEM it and your team can focus on selling and nothing else. So we take care of contract of the manufacturing, supply chain, all the regulatory if necessary. We customize it for you, and the only thing you need to tell your sales reps is sell. That's all.
So do you then hold the asset and they buy the license on the
Correct.
technology?
Yeah, it's a commercial license, so you can see it more or less as AMD or Intel do it for chips. You get a commercial license and you buy the hardware from us, with or without features that may or may not be interesting for you.
Interesting. What areas so far or verticals have you specialized in? I think urology, ortho, where else?
So we try to stay away from areas where there is really a market that is extremely either commoditized with robotics or extremely penetrated by big players. So I think we stay out of total knee or total hip, at least for the time being. But we looked for areas where procedures are done freehand but very hard to do, but that have a very well-proven curative technique, because that's where we see robots help, right? So we've done a partnership with Medtronic in cranial neuro. We work with Alphatec Spine in spine. We have a couple of Chinese partners in their own territory. And we are now launching a project for urology for kidney stone access, because it's one of those very well reimbursed procedures that are not done because urologists simply have difficulties on doing the access. So we see that the market is probably going to adopt robotics soon, and we want to be on the forefront.
Do you see your market opportunities expand as we start to see these changing centers of care and some of these procedures move to the outpatient ASC world?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things about our system is that it's more or less the size of a shoebox. Weighs 18 kilograms, fits into a Pelican case. So you can imagine, as you start doing procedures in an ASC, a stone center, or even in an outpatient setting, or an hospital where you need to move between rooms, it's a system your rep can carry. And what we try to tell companies is, we don't want to turn an implant company or a disposable company into a capital sales company. It's not their nature. Because asking them to partner with a company from the Alps is asking them to, if they need to sell it as a capital, they need to change who they are as a company. And although we are very nice people, they will not change for us. So we need to adapt to their model. And most of these companies rely on reps that have the relationships that go. And if we tell them, you can carry these in your plane, you can even take it with you inside the plane and just go between rooms, between hospitals, between states, this is going to work. So it's we see that companies are looking for alternative solutions. And I can even envision companies like Stryker and others that have large robots to use it for the complex and overlap cases. And then those low acuity ambulatory elective procedures in ASC, they can do with it. So having a multi-tier solution can also be interesting to have a faster market share there.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more clear that the stratification of the acuity of the patient and the location of the patient is going to open up new opportunities for surgical robotics for sure.
Yeah, and I think most of the companies that are not digitally native are waiting for the moment. So it's like now you're getting to the vast majority, and doctors start asking for, so they have the 5 and 10 year evidence in many areas. robotics rely mostly on surgical navigation. Navigation has 2 decades of experience. So every background, everything we have done and everything we rely on is validated. So once you unlock the majority, people will start asking for efficiency, so easy usability, cost, and profile. So, and we kind of hit those 3 things. We have a very small system. The transfer price of our system starts at around 100,000 for low quantities. So a company can really have a huge margin if they partner with us. And it's an easy to use system because it doesn't change the workflow. You mount it to the table, 0 footprint. We use disposable tool guides and trackers, so there's no SPD footprint. And essentially you are able to bring the robot only to the steps that are to done manually. So just to give you an example, we have a few luminary sites. We come in, we train the staff, we do 2 cases and we're out. We no longer go there unless the customer really, really asks for support. And that's what we believe is going to come.
So do you believe that this could be a foundational catalyst for a company eventually to say, we're an implant company or we're a diagnostic company, we've worked with interventional, I think we really do need to start a robotic program?
Yes, I agree with you. What I see is that most of the companies do not want to jump right away into building a robotics department. So what we offer is a crawl, walk, run strategy where you can start partnering with us exclusively, either distributing or even having already an exclusivity fee to say nobody else works here, and let them validate the concept. And once you start getting your contracts done, once you start getting some profit out of it, then you can start investing. I think the right way of penetrating robotics is around good clinical outcomes, good clinical experience, solving the technical challenges, and that's going to be the priority of every company. But then margin is a topic, how to sell is a topic, how to service is a topic, and all of these companies want to take control. And we are an early innovation company, so we also don't want to be a CMO. So we want to sell robots, we want to manufacture it to the partners, but we don't want to be a manufacturer for you 20 years. Right? We want to have a fade in and a fade out.
By design. That's a very unique business proposition.
It is.
Yeah. So do you take care of then the training? Do you take care of the training of the work teams and the procedure? How does that typically work?
We train the trainers, I would say. We can, of course, give some support. We have our own clinical specialist team. We also have, as I said, some luminary sites because we want to get unbiased feedback. I don't want the strategics to tell me what customers want. I would like to validate and hear it ourselves. And therefore, we have a team that is able to train the trainers. And then it's all a question of the partnership. If the partner would like to just take care of doing everything themselves and order robots from us and say, you are our manufacturer and stay away from the rest, we are okay with that. If they would like our services, we have the team and the staff and the possibility to scale to support the business if necessary.
One of the things that you hear in all surgical robotics is the data off of the procedure. So are you able to provide that data off of the procedure currently, or are you designing that into future architecture of your platform?
So our platform has the possibility of retaining logs, but as we don't provide therapeutic solutions, we don't actually record information around the procedure itself. Now, we have a network of partners that can offer you things such as 3D modeling pre-procedure. We can partner with a few companies in our ecosystem that can record, for example, the feed of the endoscope and get you that. But as we don't do therapeutics, we let the partner have that strategy. We try to do one thing and do it right, which is robotics. Our workstation has the possibility of storing data. We store everything our robot does in the course of that procedure, so we can replicate what you have done with our system. But this needs to plug into a larger ecosystem.
Got it. So you're here at SRS 2024. What are you looking for as the leader of interventional and also a player in the robotics world and watching it move very quickly?
Despite meeting you in person, for us it's a first. So we wanted to be in this epicenter of the discussion first. I want to learn, because usually when you run a business, you tend to do a lot of business and to solve problems, but you don't have the chance to learn with people that know much more than you. So I'll take the time to learn as well. But for us, it's an opportunity to meet with many people that otherwise it's going to be very hard to be with. So it's an opportunity to meet other companies, to advance talks with people inside and outside the conference, and essentially get more visibility. So as you said, a lot of people don't know us. We are a 13-year-old bootstrapped company so far, so that plays well for us. But in terms of brand awareness, we were never so widely known because we have been historically an interventional radiology company. You've talked with the folks at Quantum Surgical, Exact, and so on. So we started in that niche, but we soon noticed that if we have a platform in hands, we don't want to think in a closed ecosystem. So our thought was maybe we do a step back from the therapeutic side, but then you get caught into projects, exclusivities, and so on, and then you need to build your image back. And that's a little bit what we are doing, try to get more awareness, people to know what we do.
So a little bit about the company. How many people are in the company right now?
So we are around 40 full-time equivalents, and we have offices in Germany, Austria, Portugal, and Serbia.
Good locations.
Yeah.
And your balance of US and EU and APAC as far as business?
So most of our business is US, and it has been historically. Most of our clinical experience is in Europe because that's where we stay. And in terms in APAC, most our partners are still doing the NMPA approvals in China, so it's a very small.
But you've got also business with Merrill right now. You've struck a relationship with
Yes.
them, right?
Yeah, correct. We have a partnership with Merrill in the interventional radiology and oncology space, so they are a distributor. But the way we are looking at this on both sides, I believe, is in a crawl, walk, run phase as well, trying to validate that the market is ready. Merrill is very strong in India, and they want to make sure that their own market is successful. And then we'll see where it takes us. But yes, it's just starting.
Yeah. I love to see the creativity and the usefulness of how you're sort of positioning yourself in the market.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for us is we have never had a big sales team, but you need money to run a business. So our thought was, where can we bring value? And for me, it's always strange and to look at the markets where it's always about growing revenue and everybody needs to sell, but it's a lot. Building a robot costs a lot, so the margins are pushed to the healthcare system. And it was kind of counterintuitive for us to have a system we claim to be affordable, but then push the whole margin to the customer. So we started thinking, how can we specialize? And then I started seeing how other markets do it. There is a lot of consolidation and people specialize. And if we believe, if there are companies that are good in therapeutics, why do I need to build a new needle? Why do I need to build a new implant? Just because of the margin to lock a customer into an implant deal and force them to use my hardware that may not be the best. So I'd rather reverse it and say, we do robots, we'll partner with companies that can offer a good program to hospitals, but they cannot offer them a native robot. Also, kinematics are limited. You have patent cliffs that are very far away. So how can you compete in the space if you have no chance to do it? And through partnerships. So our founder, Dr. Vogel, he has always said that he'd like to build a European medtech mafia, where the European companies get together and build a giant. And we kind of get inspiration on that.
Love the story. Love the mafia in the EU as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Joe Mullings from SRS 2024. Be well.